Here are a few more ways to engage in class conversation or class discussion, and some ways that you can use, some tips and strategies you can use when you are engaging in this kind of discussion, whether it is in the classroom or later on in the real world, talking to people in the workforce, or even talking to your friends and having a civil conversation with each other. So, when you are having a discussion with somebody and you need to repeat ideas, whether they are ideas that are your own ideas or someone else's ideas, here are a few ways to do it. You can say to paraphrase, and paraphrase means that you are giving a summary in your own words. So you are not saying the exact words that the other person said or that you said before, but you are changing it a little bit and giving a summary in your own words and your own voice. If you are paraphrasing yourself, something you said before, present it in a slightly different way, using some new words so that the other person understands. You can also restate, and you'll notice this which means again, in the beginning of the word. And if you see a word that says in the beginning, it means again, so state again. So to restate or to state again what he said, what she said, what the author said, or what I said, I'm going to say it again. And again, I suggest using slightly different words each time. So you'll have the same meaning, but you might present it in a different way. That really helps people understand things if they hear it in a variety of ways. Now, we have been talking about active listening, and one nice thing to do during active listening is to acknowledge the other person who has been speaking. So you would say, I heard you say that, and then say what the other person's ideas are. So this gives that person a chance to respond to you. They'll hear what you're repeating back to them, and they can tell you if you are incorrect in what you understood, if you are correct in what you understood, or they might add more to it. You might say, I heard you say that this, and they'll say, but I also said that. And so they give you more. So this repeating ideas is really important during a class discussion or any kind of academic conversation, because as we're listening, you know from experience and from this class that you don't understand and retain or remember everything that is said verbally to you. Your brain cannot hold it all. So it's important to repeat and to paraphrase, to restate, and to use those active listening skills when you're listening and engaging with someone else in conversation. But sometimes you get confused. We all do. That's human, to get confused and to not understand sometimes. So if that happens, there are ways to ask for help without getting so worried and without getting scared. So if you need to ask for help during a conversation, you're super confused, you have no idea what's going on, something someone says, you don't understand any of it. It's okay. There are ways to ask for clarification or for help in understanding. So a classmate of yours just talks and says something and you didn't understand what they said. So you can say, excuse me, I need someone to clarify what was said. Or maybe the teacher was talking and you didn't understand what they meant. Well, you can just respectfully say, I need someone to clarify what was said. You can also just admit, I'm confused. Can you explain? And chances are, you're not the only one confused. A lot of times, if you are confused, a lot of other people around you are probably also confused. There is a lot of confusion and a lot of times that people don't understand each other in conversation, because when you're conversing, when you are talking with someone else, you only have the verbal language. And sometimes we don't always understand what the other person is saying, and that's totally okay. You can also say, I'm lost. Now, this word lost, of course, means you don't know where you are. But here it's a little bit metaphoric, meaning I'm lost in the conversation. I don't really know where I am in this conversation. I'm confused. I'm lost. Can you help me? Explain things to me. Explain the conversation a little bit better, because I'm lost here. Another way of saying this is, I am not following the conversation. You're there in the conversation, it's happening, you understand, then all of a sudden, you don't understand anymore. You get lost in that conversation. People are talking, but there's no understanding. And you are not following the conversation. You're not understanding what each person is saying. And of course, you can just say, I don't understand. And in an academic setting, it's all about learning. So it's okay to admit that you don't understand something, because the reason you are there is to learn. And the reason you are there is to understand things. So if sometime in the process you are confused, guess what? Everybody is at some point in the learning process. And that's why everybody's in school. So these are some things you can say, and please be brave and don't be afraid to say any of these things, because your classmates and your teachers understand. And this is so helpful. When a teacher hears a student say this, the teacher knows that the teacher needs to teach more in this area. So if you express being confused or being lost or not understanding something, that tells the teachers that you need some extra help, or that the whole class maybe doesn't understand what's going on. So this is very valuable, and this will help you so that you do not feel confused. You don't want to leave a class feeling like you didn't understand what just happened, because you're there to learn. So use some of these sentence starters to ask for help when you are confused about something, and use some of these sentence starters to repeat ideas, whether it is your own ideas or someone else in the conversation with you.